And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Wednesday, the 13th, I think. Yes, of May, 2026. Hope you're having a good day as usual. Serious talk about everything that affects you, the markets, the economy, your job, your industry. What are the markets saying? I'm going to have that today. And we'll do, let's see, tariffs, war, oil prices, the president in China, a new central banker, my PSA test, an ass clown at the New York Times, and other stuff. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we will post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you just put our name in. And if you'd like to email me, just be nice. I have to tell you, I've had a couple of dozen people email me and correct me and disagree with me, but everybody is respectful. I guess it's working on you when I tell you I will be respectful back. Unless you like Hamas, unless you're this guy Nicholas Kristof who writes for the New York Times. I'll explain that in a little bit. But first, so in case you don't know about us men, we have this thing called prostate. And in case you don't know about us men, well, at least my life, I can't begin to tell you how many people that I know, including some close relatives that have had prostate cancer. It's a scourge on the male. And luckily for all the people that I know, nobody has died because of it. But if you catch it late, it can go to other places, and that's when it goes and gets you. So yours truly, had some little tests and stuff like that. But I did the big tests, and I passed with flying colors. And may I state for the record that I was a little nervous for a little bit of time. You get these little scores and you're like, what's this number? And they tell you, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. Everything's cool. And you're crapping in your pants over it. No, this, that, and the other thing. And you go on Google or your search engine and you look up the numbers and what could happen and how you go. Came back, everything good. So just letting you know. And as you know, I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I do take like some cholesterol crap and whatever. I take care of myself. Those that know me say I look 20 years younger than I am. The whole works. So, we just want to stay healthy. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know. And men, get the test. Get them early. It should be something you do. And by the way, the same goes, for the colonoscopy also. Men. I don't think women get that, do they? Or maybe they do. Yeah, they do. Anyway, we try to take care of ourselves, but my wife says, I don't care about that score and that test. You're going to get the big scan. So I'm going after getting this big scan. I don't know what the hell that entails, but I'm going to do one of those. I hear it costs a little bit, but who cares? Want to take care of yourself. Okay, that's number one. Number two. I don't know if this goes hand in hand with colonoscopies, but there's a new central banker named Kevin Warsh. And as you know, we have no use for the central bank. We don't even know why they exist. We don't know what they do for us. We believe they're an overrated entity, kind of like watching the Mets this year, though I'm hopeful. They're playing better. So we have a new central banker, and here's the interesting part about this. As you know, you have a president who, by the way, is now in China, who has been cursing out Jay Powell and saying he's the Antichrist. Actually, whatever he said is worse than the Antichrist. Anyway, Trump's been going after him. And as you know, we have been a big critic of Jay Powell, not in the last year, 15 months. We thought he's done a good job the last year. But the president is this easy money maniac that says we should be lowering rates, we should be at 1%, 0%, whatever. And he nominates this guy, Kevin Warsh. But interesting enough, Kevin Warsh is an inflation fighter. That's his past. And what that means is you're not an easy money person. He also says he doesn't like all this printed money, and he'd like to wind that down as much as possible. Just in his words, I love him, but the president should hate him because the president wants easier money. The president should hate him. I'm predicting the first time the Fed meets under Warsh and does not lower rates, the president's going to call him an ass clown also. He's going to go after him too. I hope this man is independent. I was just on TV and I said basically these words. He doesn't have to do much. Raise a quarter, lower a quarter, just get the hell out of our way. And I went on and said my canned line that I tell you, the economy is not the Fed, like Jay Powell said. We're the economy. 150 million of us or so going to work every day, trying to do better for ourselves and family, moving up the ladder in life. Start making 40,000. Oh, now I'm making 60. Now I'm making 90. Oh, I'm going to start my own business. Now I'm making 200. So then the Marxists would come after you and raise your taxes. Remember the socialist Marxists? They don't affect the rich. They try to prevent others from becoming rich. You know how that works. So we're in hopes this new guy comes in and just takes it easy. Hope he's not a puppet. They have already a puppet there. Trump put this guy Mirren in, and he might as well have strings on his shoulders with Trump behind him. So that's number 2 today. Next, the market. So we have been talking about the market and how it's about as split as can be, and how we have kind of coast to coast. If you have a watch or a clock, you got the midpoint and then that's where the hands jut out from. Imagine if one hand goes up to the 12, the other one goes down to 6. Well, going up to 12 continues now to be the artificial intelligence semiconductor trade with some other things. Steel is in there. Going down to 6 is just a ton of stuff. Consumer-oriented stuff. Again today, they smacked the hell out of retail, auto dealers, auto parts retail, housing related. Restaurants were murdered again today. Insurance. As I said, travel related, not all. They bounced a little bit of the cruise lines, but they're in bearish phase. Casinos. And now they're starting to get some of the transports troublesome while they had been leading. The consumer. And as we have stated to you, that has us a little bit worried about the consumer. But it can also be just what the institutions are doing. Get me the hell out of everything and just pile on this stuff that is working in artificial intelligence semiconductor land. Well, you had another day like that today. And may I state another part of the equation? Because when I tell you about the NASDAQ, because it was up 300 today after having a bad day yesterday, but a good comeback at the end of the day. Wait till you hear the internals, and then we'll go through what is and what isn't. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So as I said to you, they're really coming after. Restaurants again today. Brinker International down 9, Darden down 6, Texas Roadhouse 4, Wingstop 3, Yum Brands 3, Kava Group 5. And they've already, a bunch of these have already been beaten up. Retail, Lowe's, Home Depot hit new yearly lows today again. Lowe's down 4, Lulu down 4, Pool down 6, Ross Stores down 6, Ralph Lauren down. You get my point. Ulta Salon down 13. What, nobody's getting massages? Anyway, as we have stated to you, if the market has a voice, the consumer, and of course 1 + 1 = 2, oil prices have been going up, as well as yields. But also meat prices has been soaring, copper has been going up. By the way, copper's in a lot of things. Regional banks are now getting hit again. And I said housing, but Sherwin-Williams, Restoration Hardware, Williams-Sonoma, Whirlpool, things that go into houses, getting smoked. But on the other end, the SOX was up 300 today. Just so you know, it was down 800 yesterday, finished only down, I think, about 380, and got back 300 of that today. And there's a story that the president's in China and the Nvidia CEO's with them, and I guess a couple of others. And by the way, every one of those stocks were up today, whether or not anything happens there. And I said to you internals, what do we mean by that? Well, with the NASDAQ up 314, advanced declines were negative today on the NASDAQ, and new yearly lows picked up markedly to 213, and pretty much were in line with new yearly highs. It's showing new yearly highs at 275, but when you always go to new yearly highs, there's a bunch of non-operating companies that are there also, so pretty much the same. Those are terrible internals. Does not mean it can't get better, but they're terrible internals. And what skews things? Here's some new yearly highs. You ready? Nvidia, Apple, Google. Just for starters. 3 of the bigs. Texas Instruments is in the NASDAQ also. And some others. And but I go through, I got a bunch of ETFs, some SPACs. So the new yearly highs versus lows about the same with the NASDAQ going in fuego. So that's of note. That said, again, same names. Bad day yesterday, decent rebound, boom, right back up today. And there's your story. Semiconductors AI, it's 1999-ish, does not mean it has to turn into 2000. Now, as I said to you, semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and the memory, data, storage, optical, and all that crap, there's some other things working away from that. Steel, pretty strong. Some copper names with copper prices going up, pretty strong. Things that had good earnings reports or good reactions. United Health is back to a new yearly high, though it's still way down from a few years ago. That's in the Dow. And by the way, Cisco Systems. I wonder what they announced after the close. Because it closed at 101.87, I got it up $11 in the aftermarket. That is a huge move for Cisco. Computer networking, they had to announce some artificial intelligence stuff. That's a big move for a 1990s name. God bless them. That's a great story. Cisco and Intel. As I'm looking at the numbers, actually, revenues for next quarter are going to be better than expected, and the market likes that, as well as earnings. So nice. Did a $1.06, estimates were $1.03 for this one, which I don't think is the biggest of deals. But good enough to go up 10% in the aftermarket. Ooh, make that 11%. Make that 12%. Cisco. Wow. It is a festival in technology land. Go look at a chart of the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, and then go look at a chart of the retail index. One north, one south. And therein lies the story. It's something we haven't seen since '99, and I mean that. We've studied it all. And we'll see where it lands. By the way, Cisco is now up 14% in the aftermarket. Dang. When Cisco Systems can do that, anything is possible. I'm afraid to look at Jack in the Box, though. No, they haven't reported yet. Anyway, that's your story in a nutshell. Tower Semiconductor today reported earnings. Market liked them. Up 22% today. Up 22%. That's what we're getting. How about something called Nebius? Up 15% today. I do believe that was much higher early, but still up 15%. They lost a bunch of money, but their sales growth went from in the December quarter, 227 million to 399 the next quarter. So whatever they're selling, the market quite likes. And these are all artificial intelligence type things. My universe of stocks now is down to maybe 125 out of the thousands and thousands and thousands. Why? I don't need to look at retail. I don't need to look at housing or housing related. I don't need to look at 99% of the medicals. And there's a lot of those. I don't need to look at travel except maybe Viking Cruise Line. That acts okay. I don't need to look at the regional banks. I can look at the big banks. I got 3 that act okay, but nothing special. It's a very weird market. Up next, more on that and whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Thanks for being with us today. And to give you an idea about the market, Ford. Stock's been dead. Acting terribly. Up 13% today. You know what they announced? Energy storage. AI, energy storage, data centers, this, that, and the other thing. You goose your stocks. I got to look that news over. But that's the story. That's the story. And now we get Cisco, which is a big wow. They beat by a little bit, and market loves it. What else? 4481 on the 10-year yield, up again. 5047 on the 30. 5-year is at 413. They're getting elevated. Oil prices pulled back a wee bit today. The inflation number that came out was not good at all. And as we say to you here, we pull no punches. The messaging out of this administration on affordability sucks. When I hear the president say, "Oh, well, we predicted $200 oil," that's a lie. Just trying to mitigate things. I watched J.D. Vance, and by the way, between Rubio and J.D. Vance for 28, Rubio filet mignon, J.D. Vance spam. That's my opinion. Nothing personal. I just measured it and watched. Anyway, inflation's here. They were out today blaming Biden, and they were out today lying about it, and they've got to stop. They said they inherited the inflation. No, when the president took over, we were already down to 3% because Powell was forced to stop the money printing and raise rates. Already at 3%. And even maybe a little bit less than that, or maybe a little higher. So I wish they would stop treating us like idiots. The president's already lost the midterms because of calling women piggy and stupid and retards. Just this whole demeanor has turned off the independents, and the mishandling of the deportations pissed off the Hispanics, who he won over both to beat Kamala Harris. They refuse to learn from the missteps. What can I tell you? But anyway, we'll see what the redistricting does. But this inflation thing, I said on TV today, the most important thing about inflation is what the bond market does. If the bond market cooperates, we're okay. If the bond market doesn't cooperate, the Fed will be forced to raise rates, and that will be a problem for markets, for starters. Just letting you know. This Iran thing, as I have told you, I don't care what they say, total miscalculations on their part, and I don't understand at this juncture while they are stretching it out. Every one of their intelligence reports told them that Iran wasn't even near nuclear. The president said they obliterated the nuclear, and then right before the war, they're 2 weeks away from nuclear, which was another BS. But at this juncture, nothing good happens if oil prices stay up here. I keep hearing, everything will not be fine. Not when a large percentage of this country lives paycheck to paycheck. Not when the job market is kind of not great. Remember, it's not just the pump. It's not just the gas pump. Go search the words, what products are made with petroleum? And there are thousands of them. And if the cost of petroleum goes up, the cost for all those products go up. Inflation. That's how it works. If I had the president's ear, I would say, come down off of this already. and let's get moving. He won't listen to me. So the consumer trade has just been racked. Even some strong retail stocks that were holding up like Ross stores just dropped from 230 to 211 in the last 5 days. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the strongest one. That's been the strongest name. You wouldn't believe what the weak stuff has done. Ralph Lauren was at a new high 3 weeks ago, 331. Excuse me, 393. It's 331 now. And that's a strong one. You want a weak one? Go look at Lululemon. Whatever the hell's going on. By the way, Lululemon, Under Armour, Nike. All three in the basement. I would not want to be in that industry at this point in time, I guess. Wow. And as I have said, I gotta believe Nike is going to get taken out of the Dow eventually. Sooner rather than later. That's my thought process. And they should. We're pretty much past earnings season now. There's a few more to go. Cisco is not going to hurt tomorrow. The tech area. It is quite amazing what we are seeing. I never thought I'd see a 99 again. By the way, Lululemon just a year ago was 340. It's 121. And Under Armour was just 815 about 3 months ago. It's 511 today. Very tough business. And I still remember I was in when I was in London, I was in an Under Armour store, and they would tell me business not good. And a Nike store, same thing. The competition for your bucks, you know who's winning? Walmart. Walmart be winning. What a story. The ability to continue to deliver. Walmart here. And by the way, Amazon. Without even having stores. They do have Whole Foods. And I think they're shutting most of the Amazon stores, aren't they? Two behemoths. While so many other retails, do you know how many retail stores have shut over the last few years? Absolute tons. So we'll walk in tomorrow. Cisco, we'll see how it plays out overnight. I told you what the story is. My middle screen is beet red in all the consumer areas. My front screen in the middle is the semis and AI. Irish green with some big moves. My left screen of lesser tech, bright red. So it is narrow as narrow can be. Normally narrow is not good. We'll see how this one plays out. We're open to all outcomes as we move forward. But it's getting a little bit on the interesting side as I pick apart the markets for you and I. Up next, we're going to have to do something a little bit different. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So as you know, we have not had any love for the media types for a very long time. We have found them to be very, very biased, play with the news and stories. I'm not talking about opinion people. Fox has opinion people on there. They give their opinions. The other places have opinion people on there. They give their opinions. I'm talking about the reporters. The stories. And as you know, we fight all forms of racism against anybody. We believe everybody is equal. Everybody gets to decide their own fate and their lots in life. And there's always these events. And as you know, the October 7th, where Hamas did what they did. And if you noticed, out of that, they started going after Israel, even though Israel was attacked. Did you notice that? Oh, we did. We reported it. We talked about it on TV. Israel was attacked for going after the perpetrators, the animals. Hospital blew up without any evidence. They blamed Israel. It was found out it was a Hamas rocket. They had to shut that down. Do you think they apologized? No. Why would they do that? We now have a New York City mayor that sucks. Last night, a bunch of Hamas lovers, Jew haters, not Israel, were threatening and attacking Jews in the street in Brooklyn. I haven't heard the mayor even talk about it yet. That would not be happening if I was mayor. Well, we are just finding out in the last 3 or 4 days just how depraved Hamas was. I am not going to describe it for you. It's heinous on what they did to both women and men. You can stretch your own imagination or go read about it. Think of the worst things you can do. They did. And there is proof positive and evidence of it. Somehow, Nicholas Kristof, an Israel hater, on the New York Times, timed an article that it's the Israelis raping Palestinians. And where did he get his evidence from? You guessed it. Oh, that person and this person. No evidence. No nothing. Knowing that this unbelievable big news was coming out on how depraved Hamas was, he puts out this article that it's Israel doing it. This is what we're dealing with. And that's why we always tell you, do your own homework. Know what you're dealing with. You know, when they call Bernie Sanders an independent, but he's a Cuban-loving communist, you catching the drift? They have no problem ripping on Trump. Oh, and by the way, they kind of stopped because I think they're worried. But they have no problem there. But do you think they ever said a word about Biden for 3.5 years saying the border was secure, along with Mayorkas? They never brought it up. It wasn't the story. While millions were coming through and dying. Remember how they went after Trump in his first term on families separated? Well, you know how many kids got separated under Biden? A bazillion! Never brought it up. Yet they ran it 24/7 under Trump. So I just want to let you know they're still at it. This scumbag Nicholas Kristof, and by the way, I'd say it to his face. You can go to read the article. Yeah, I spoke to somebody. Yes, somebody said. And just happened to come out right when more evidence on what Hamas did. Anyway, just wanted to bring that up because going forward, who knows what they're going to say? Who knows what they're going to do? Who knows what they're going to report? And we've got to be, because I got to tell you, it ain't going to be the Republicans or Democrats. It ain't going to be D.C. It's got to be we the people, checks and balances. It's going to be our job because both sides are in the tank for each other, unfortunately. And that's why we lost all love for all of them. And that's why a lot of people have come to my side. And you know what side that is? No side. And I've been told a lot, Gary, you got to take sides. Hell no. 39 trillion bucks says so. Oh, by the way, we now at 39 trillion. We're now at 39 trillion of debt. Did I say 39 trillion? And we're now at 100 billion a month interest on that debt. And President Trump will be running record debt this year, worse than Biden this year, though he told us he would do the opposite this year. And if you ask him about it now, you're just plain stupid for asking. Just wanted to let you know. You can tell the love I have for all these people, right? But back to the markets as we circle around. We'll keep reporting. It's very narrow. Tech, AI, steel, smattering of some things. China's getting a little bit better. And anything that reacts well on earnings. And now you get Cisco Systems, by the way, is up 15% in the aftermarket. That is another unbelievable story. And by the way, Cisco just went from 90 to 100 in the last 10 days. It's now 116. So the band continues to play on. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.